And welcome to the Drive to Draw podcast. Joining me in the studio once again is Phil Fechner. Thank you for joining us, mate.
Thanks, Pete. Good to be back again.
Absolutely.
Another week.
We got another gig.
No intro or finish off from Pete either yet. So
No.
I did ask him this week.
Yep.
So
He's still conjuring up something.
Yeah, so look out.
Mate, what was your good for the week?
Team won again, so undefeated, so it's all right. We're going along quite nicely on a Saturday, and midweek we've lost the one.
Yep.
Had a draw on Wednesday, team won. Yeah, all pretty good.
Now, I haven't had a chance to look up the state triples for this weekend, but you did mention off air that
I've
you've got
a
state
gig.
triples.
One of the
Who was silly enough to invite you?
one of the lads pulled out, and I can't remember who pulled out.
Yep.
So I'm playing with Peter Canala and Stevie Darzin, so a couple of handy bowlers.
Pretty handy bowlers.
Cover me.
Yep.
So
And did you say you're at Kensington
Kensington
Marrowville?
Yeah, so I'll take the rub the shoulder in on the night before, right?
Yeah, I think it's overarm, not underarm, but we'll see how we go with that.
All good.
Mate, we've got a pretty big episode to get into coming up a bit later in our 22nd players interview. We've got SHERIDON BODNAR, so really looking forward to that.
Yep.
And we've got a bit of breaking news a little bit later on, a guest coming in a couple of weeks' time.
Wow.
I won't give too much away now, but I will just say that it is a jackaroo.
There you go.
We've already had one. We've
Here
found another one. So let's get into Around the Greens.
Around the Greens.
All right, mate, we'll stick with Saturday pennants, but we will, over the next couple of weeks, have a little bit of a look at the midweek pennants of the Wednesday men and the Thursday ladies.
Reached out to me and said, are we going to cover the midweek? And I didn't sort of know what we're up to, so I didn't sort of answer
we
back
just
at
thought,
the stage,
because of the way that Prem and Div 1 sort of had to make up all these different games, trying to untangle that and get that all sorted out. Now that we're on a normal schedule, so to speak, we can actually include the midweek of the men's and the ladies on Thursday. So,
very good.
Mate, let's kick off with some of the results in, round 4 for the, let's go the Premier
Back to
League.
round 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we're just finishing that one off, so we've all caught up then. Adelaide and Grange had a ripper there Friday night. Adelaide 84, Grange 85. Corey Hicks going down to Rudy 14-31 was the biggest winning rink there.
Yep.
Lockleys fought it out against Holdy, 81-92. Holdy getting the chocolates there.
Yes.
Ash Halls didn't have a night out. He 8, Liam Coe, young Liam, 27. So good win for Liam.
Yep.
Ascot and Somerton. I reckon I tipped Ascot here. I can't remember.
I tipped Somerton, so there you go.
I reckon I got it wrong.
Yep.
Ascot 63, Somerton 86. Sam Denton 18, Scotty Taylor 28 was the biggest winning rink there. So
Sammy's on a bit of form at the moment.
yeah, we wasn't though Friday night.
No,
he was on the end.
No, and big shout out to Dan Greenslade. He actually pulled me up on Sunday at the state triple finals and sort of said, loving the podcast.
Oh,
he listens to it on a Friday night. So shout out there to Dan. He'll be pretty happy that we've done that. Him making the move, obviously, to Somerton to play with Nathan Pedersen. So,
yeah, it's been a couple of years now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And the last game on Friday night was Salisbury 63 versus Westlakes 89. Mitch Walker 15, Josh Choppin 26. So we'll quickly whiz into the Saturday.
Absolutely. Pete. Round 4 that was.
Yep, so into round 4. Adelaide 80, Westlake 70. So it wasn't a bad bit of a tussle there. Mm-hmm. Nathan Black getting 26 over Jimmy Gregory, 13. And the other one was John O'Voigt, 13 over Isaac Trenorden. So it was both a margin of 13 there, 26. Lockleys got a hiding on the Saturday from Somerton, 51, Somerton 106. Theo Katsivas, 11, Jeff Ayworth, 31. So
some big scores being put on there.
Yeah, there's some big hidings there.
Yep.
Again on the Saturday, Modbury 82, Grange 79.
So 3 or 4 shots over 2 days.
Yeah, and I'm going to try that name again, Jason Walhan.
Yes.
23 over Ben Bowman, 13. So it's a good win to Jason there.
Yes.
And the last game, Hawthorn versus Holdy. I did tip your mob.
Yep.
Hawthorn 91, Holdy 73. Matty Northcott getting over Matt Rossi, 29-13 was the biggest winning margin there.
Yep.
And the last game was Salisbury getting over Ascot, which I would have said is an upset. I tipped Ascot there.
Yep, there would have been a few that tipped that as well. But
There's only a few shots in it. Salisbury 81, Ascot 78. Roscoe McConnell, probably a night off the booze, so 27 versus Sammy Dietrich, 12.
Yeah,
you
well,
wouldn't cop one of those very often.
I spoke with Sammy on Sunday and said, hey, what happened yesterday? He goes, Rossi was on fire.
And he can be that
and
way.
He can be.
He's a great bowler, Rossi. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
So I'll quickly run through the ladder, just the top few there, Pete.
Mate. Yep.
Summerton 4 and zip. Hawthorn 3 and 1.
Surprise?
Yeah, no, not really.
No?
I mean, you recruited well. So
I thought we'd be around the top four, but currently sitting second. So
probably Ascot the one, 2 and 2. And then you got Westlake's 2 and 2. So quickly we'll run through this week's games.
Now that all the games are sort of back to sort of normal, I think we've got a pretty true indication of what the ladder should basically look like.
I reckon we're not far off that top four that we sort of forecast early in the year.
Yep.
Somerton versus Adelaide. Let's have a quick tip.
I'm going to go Somerton.
Somerton for me. West Lakes versus Hawthorn at West Lakes, at windy West Lakes.
I'm going to go Hawthorn.
Hawthorn for me.
Yep.
Holdie versus Grange at Holdie.
I'm going to predict Grange, but only by a small amount.
Grange for me too. Ascot versus Lockleys.
Ascot for me.
Ascot for me. And the last game, Salisbury versus Modbury. At Salisbury, I guess, on the greens.
Yeah, I'm going to go Modbury.
Modbury for me. We've tipped the same there,
Absolutely. All right, well, let's take a little bit of a look at game of the round, which would probably be West Lakes and Hawthorn. A couple of experienced skips, not only for West Lakes, but also for Hawthorn as well. Where's it going to be won and lost, do you think?
I've tipped Hawthorn.
Yep.
I mean, you got Choppy and Jimmy Gregory.
And Mark Haynes.
Yep.
Chris Flavel.
Yep. And I better mention Hully. I played with Hully on Monday.
Yep.
Better mention that. He's not a skip. He's not skipping. He's playing 3.
Yep.
Better mention Hully.
Yep.
He struggled on Monday.
Yep. Oh, you let him know, mate.
So did I.
No, you let him know. Where was that?
We're at Prospect.
Prospect.
Yeah. It was a bit of a slow green out the front there, but we all had a bit of a struggle. But I think they've got some really good skips, haven't they? There's 3 or 4 good skips. Yeah, the Flavels, and he told me that Robbie Flavel's been bowling
the house down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
which is what you want.
Yeah, I reckon they'll win it.
Hawthorn, obviously, Matty Northcock just starting to find some form there. Number 3, Robbo, is new to the club and has fitted in quite seamlessly. The other one probably for me is Lodgies. He's around the mark most of the time, but when he gets going, it could be quite dangerous. And I think this is the type of game that he's going to relish.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So good luck to everyone there. All right, let's move on to Division 1, mate.
Division 1, here we go. Somerton versus Paynham was Somerton 93 to Paynham 67. Jason Hallows, 29 over Candice Rayson 16.
Yep.
Port Noarlunga over Woodville, quite a good win, 94-75 over Woodville.
We think Port Noarlunga are going to be around the mark this year.
Yeah, I think so. Top 4, we sort of tipped them, didn't we?
Yep.
Anthony Moffat, 32, Sam Merrifioti, 14. So then we go over to Millswood.
Yes.
Close game here. Millswood, 78. Modbury, 72. John Wells over Patrick McGuinness. I didn't get John's score, sorry, but he had a comfortable win over him.
Yep.
Toorak, 70 versus Henley, 91. John Chambers, 13 over Jeff Marsh over John Chambers, 33. So 20 shot to Marshy.
Yep.
Tranmere, 70. Ooh, Marion, 72.
Well, we did talk last week about potentially the home ground advantage. Could play a little bit of a part. And it looks like Club Tranmere there have taken it right up to probably one of the favourites this year in Division 1.
I agree. And Phil Ryan, who I don't know much about, I don't know the name down there at Marion.
Yes.
He had another good win, 26-10 over Graham Young. And I'll quickly run through the table while I've got it here, Pete.
Yes, mate.
Marion 4 and zip, Somerton 4 and zip, Port Noarlunga 3 and 1, and Millswood 3 and 1. So I think we're pretty close to the 4 at the moment, early days, obviously.
Do we see Tranmere maybe jumping up there a little bit?
Could be in there. They're not far behind. They're at like 2 and 2, I reckon.
And they had a reasonably good year last year, just looking back at some of the results. So Millswood, a little bit of a surprise. New team to Division 1.
Thought they'd be competitive, though.
A couple of good wins. I agree with you. I thought they'd be around the mark as well. But for me, Somerton have got great depth, not only from their Prem side, but they brought in some players from other clubs now to play in their Division 1 side. And, they're going to be around the mark, but I still think Marion is going to be the team to beat.
Yeah, it'll be between those two, but Marion, they've got a good side.
Absolutely. All right, mate. Let's get on to this week's matches.
Round 5.
Yeah.
The tips. We got Woodville versus Somerton at Woodville.
I'm going to go Somerton for me.
Me too.
Yep.
Paynham versus Turak's bottom 2 here.
I'm going to go Paynham on the home deck.
I'm going to go Turak.
Okay.
Feisty on Guy Uren and
Feisty had a day out on Sunday. I can attest to that firsthand. Yep.
A couple good skips there. So Turak for me. Henley and Modbury.
I'm going to go Henley.
I'm going Modbury.
Okay.
Marion and Port Noarlunga. Game of the round.
Game of the round for me.
Yep.
I'm going to go Marion.
Marion for me. And the last, perhaps this is a game of the round.
Well,
Tranmere and Millswood.
Last 2 games there in this round are going to be mighty hard to tip in the tipping competition. I'm going to go Tranmere on the home deck.
So am I.
Yeah.
Tranmere for me.
Yep, absolutely. Any real surprises there so far for you, Phil?
Not really, no.
Again,
perhaps I thought Ascot might have been like that 3-1 or 4-0, but they're sort of back with that pack at the moment. But it's plenty days to go.
A couple of players obviously out for Ascot last week in the Prem Division 1. I think, like I've said previously, I think Port Noarlunga are going to be around the mark. I think Millswood are going to be very, very competitive. And Tranmere are probably the wild card at the moment. For me, I'm a little surprised Woodville have been a little slow to start.
Yeah, I was surprised. And they had a big influx of players. Didn't know many of them, and were they in the top sides, I'm not too sure.
Yep.
But, I was surprised. I thought they would have been coming up or going down from coming up last year.
Absolutely.
I thought they might have been round the mark.
All right, mate, let's take a quick look at some hot shots.
Up and in through the front.
Playing a bit of wet. Wow.
Going to get the white through the hole.
It's certainly a pretty good shot. Very good outcome.
All right, let's get into Around the Regions, mate. Last week we had Bob Scott from the York Peninsula on, and we thank him for his time just talking about what's happening in the York Peninsula. We're going to get him back on at some stage during the season and talk about, obviously, some of the results, a bit like what you're about to give us from the Barossa Light, mate.
Okay, we had a double header up there too, just to catch up a bit. And Friday night was Mount Pleasant at home to Angaston, where they went down 59 to 100. And I'll quickly run through who was top ranks. John Webb lost to Ian Ellsworthy 14-29.
Yes.
Freeling 64 to Linddock 92, which we tipped.
Yep.
Alex Bryan 16 to Darren Green 25. Newry played the top side, Yadunda, previously undefeated. 93 Newry, Yadunda 75.
I think I got that one wrong.
I did too.
Yep.
I tipped Yadunda.
Yep.
The Mayor.
Oh, the Mayor.
26 to 16 over Tate Rogers. So, yeah.
Well done, Stewie Forbes.
Yeah. And Rob Gropey was the same. He won by 10 as well over Jimmy Mader. So, came from West Lakes this year.
Yep.
Quickly, Tanunda. Oh, close game here. 71 against Kapunda 70. Timmy Leash, ex-Lockleys, had a couple of years down there.
Yep.
Against Cat Green. 27 Timmy Leash, Cat Green 8. So, might have been a long trip home in the car with her and Adrian.
Yes, one sitting in the front, one sitting in the back, maybe.
Jaden had his ears blocked. So that was Friday night, Pete. So then they rounded up Saturday again.
Yes.
And Yadunda played Tanunda at home, and they had a loss on the Friday night, but they certainly didn't on the Saturday. Udunda 111 to under 47. There's some big hidings in that. Tate Rogers, who copped the hiding Friday night, came out 33-9 over Tim Leash, which Tim Leash gave Cat Green the hiding on the front. Bowls is a funny thing.
It is a funny game, isn't it? 1 minute you can be playing brilliantly, and the next you can't get it within a Bras Razoo.
And then it was Kapunda on the Saturday, 95 to Mount Pleasant, 58. Brian Grant, 29 over John Webb, 10. Anguston, 105 versus Freeling, 64.
Yes.
Who do we have there? Justin Morris, 30 over Rod Scene, 14. And Newry, the last game, Newry, 90 over Lindock, 67. The Mayor again. Oh. He's had a big weekend.
Yep. He generally does have it.
He'd have the key to this town, wouldn't he?
Start the car, yes. Stewie Forbes.
22 over Sean Mahoney, 11. So he's had a big weekend. I'll quickly run through the ladder, Pete, while I've got it here. Udunda 4-1. Anguston 3-2. Here come Anguston. Mm-hmm. Lindock 3-2 and Newry 3-2. It's very close down there.
Yep.
So quickly we run on to this week's games. Lindock play Anguston at Lindock.
I'm going to go Lindock.
I'm going Anguston.
Oh, actually, no. I'm going to switch. Yes.
Okay.
Anguston are coming, aren't they?
They're coming. Tanunda versus Newry, the old rivals. Newry for me.
Yep.
Mount Pleasant versus Udunda. Udunda for me. And the last game, the Light versus the Light out there. They call it the Light area.
Yes.
Freeling versus Kapunda.
I'm going to go Kapunda.
Kapunda for me.
Yep.
And that's the roundup on the Barossa Light.
No worries. Tournaments happening up there?
Oh, only that one at Newry's the one I know. Yep. No one sort of contacted me. They had the Yalumba Day last Sunday. Yes. Great success up there, they tell me.
Yes.
A couple of the boys I know played up there and had a ball. So, Newry on the 24th is one coming up. I think it's full, so but anybody wants to come up and have a couple of beers, have a look, and that'd be good.
Absolutely, mate. Enjoy the day, and everybody that's out there enjoy it as well. All right, let's take a quick look at... actually, let's move on to the 22nd end players interview.
Players interview.
And welcome to tonight's 22nd end. We welcome Sheridan BODNAR from the Adelaide Bowling Club, formerly from the Henley Beach Bowling Club, who took out 4 ladies singles in a row. That's a pretty impressive effort. Won the State Women's 4 2 times now. Won silver medal in the under-18 national pairs. Won the women's state triples last year. I reckon that was with Tasman and Hanukkah. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And currently, as we found out yesterday through all the socials there, announced in the Australian Jackaroo Academy team for South Australia. Congratulations, Sheridan.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How did the bowls start for you, Sheridan? Where was your first bowling club? Was it country or metro?
At Metro, so I was at Henley Bowling Club for 9 years. My pop, my nana, my dad, and my brother did lawn bowls. Yep. And then at the age of 12, I basically started bowling from there because I just didn't like watching anymore. And and here I am.
There you go. Any other sports? Any other interests before bowls?
I used to do netball during primary school and high school. Yep. And then unfortunately I had to quit that in year 12 because otherwise it just would have been too much. And then I also used to do and I do dancing as well and have been doing that for about 13 years or so. So yeah.
Well, that keeps you busy.
So did you end up getting to play with family, as part of your bowls journey? We've talked to a couple of guests so far who've sort of said that their family did get them involved with it and that was part of the reason why they got into the sport. Did you get to play a couple of years with family?
So I did the mixed pairs a few times, club mixed pairs with Dad. And sometimes I did a few tournaments with both my dad and my brother. And I also did the ladies' women's pairs with Nana as well. So, yeah.
How did that all go?
Yeah.
Playing with brother and dad?
Or I'd rather play with dad than my brother because, like, we just, sort of don't have the same, like, mindset. Yeah.
Obviously, your bowls journey then exploded a little bit. How did you get involved with some of the state squads and how did you move through that process?
So basically when, before I sort of started bowling, I was just having a muck around with my brother at one of his state trainings on the green. And then, one of the coaches came up to me like, well, why aren't you in my team? Like, I need you in the under 18s. And I was like, well, I don't know. I just wasn't really interested. So yeah. And then, so then I was offered to try out for the under 18 squad, when I was 12. And yeah, that's sort of how I progressed into that. And then maybe year 11, year 12 or so, I was asked to try out for the women's state squad. And been in it ever since.
Who's the one person you sort of look up to as part of that squad there, obviously locally, but then also maybe internationally or nationally? Who is your sort of idol?
Ooh. I would have to say Christina Christic from the Jackaroos. Like, on and off the green, her personality is just absolutely amazing, and she's just a gun bowler in general, to be honest.
Yep.
So
one of my favourite players to watch. I seen her live at the Australian Open a few years ago, and you're right, smooth, just enjoys her bowls, and if you've got to emulate that, you'd be going pretty well. What about locally? Who took you under their wing here?
Oh, I would have to say probably when I first sort of came to Adelaide, Scotty Thorburn and Lainey McGorman sort of helped me out a lot, and they helped me to progress as a bowler as well and help with my development, and yeah.
Is it your second year at Adelaide?
Yes, correct.
Yep. And all good there? Happy?
Oh, yeah, I love it. It's a really, really good club.
Nice big club and,
very supportive, younger group of you guys coming through. I think Scotty's obviously identified that the youth will hold Adelaide in good stead for a few years to come.
Yes, that is correct, yeah.
And on the grapevine, coming runner-up to Rachel Krebicks last year in the club championships in your first year at a new club, that's a pretty special achievement.
Yeah, it was such a good game. Like, we were very close, and Rachel has always been like such a sweetheart, and her like bowling ability is really good as well. Yeah,
absolutely. What type of bowls are you using? We often get asked this, or we get asked to ask this of the interviewees. What bowls are you using at the moment?
I use Hensler XGs, size 3.
Very good choice.
Yeah. Stock standard.
Yeah.
What colour? You've got those purple ones, don't you?
Yeah, like the purple, pink, black. So like the Phantom Duo.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. You got to have the matching outfit with it as well. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yep. I always think.
You obviously got into bowls for the social aspect for family. What are your goals now that you've been announced as part of that Jackaroos Academy squad now? What are your goals for the next 12 months and beyond?
Oh, I would have to say, being a newcomer into the Jackaroo Academy, I guess sort of like slowly making my way into the emerging process. For 4 years now, it's like a dream come true for me to actually be in the Jackaroo team. So I think that's sort of my main accomplishment that I wanted to do. Yeah.
What age are you now? You're 12.
I'm 21.
21. Oh, still young.
Yeah, still a little kitty.
Is this new Pathways program through the academy through the States? Is this something that has been on the agenda for a little while, or is this something that Bowls Australia have now sort of tailored to each state?
I think it's only new. Just looking at the format of the email. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, I did see that. That's why I was sort of asking whether it might have been on the cards for a little while, and now they've actually formalised it. But I think that's a good idea, having actually state-based academies.
Yeah.
Very good. So Adelaide going along quite nicely at the moment.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
You know, with all the new influx of players this year, it's obviously going to take a little while to settle down. But you know, you've had some good wins already, so Scotty be happy with that.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, like Adelaide as a whole, in the Prem team are like really good, and we're like, you know, we support each other. We use a lot of teamwork as well, and yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Timmy Hicks in your rink?
Yes, he is.
Are you looking after him?
Oh, yes, always. He's always looking after me too. He's like my second dad.
There you go. That's why I asked if he's looking after you, you're looking after him. Who's skipping in that rink at the moment?
Currently it's Nathan Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty handy.
Yeah. It's very strong skip there.
do you get to, you know, sort of pick his brain every now and then with what's going on, or is it something that, you know, you're all around that same age that you've all sort of grown up together? Is it a case of, you know, he knows what you need to do, and you know what he needs to do, and you go from there?
I sort of think like because like Charlie's a third, and I think them two sort of have the same sort of like brain work into thinking like what shot to play. So we sort of just let them to like do their own thing. But yeah, then I sort of like think that, oh yeah, like that's the shot like he should definitely do when he actually does play it. So yeah.
So you're playing it 2 or you're leading?
I'm leading.
Oh, you're leading. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Still a pretty handy ring. What's your favourite part about bowls?
To be honest, I think having the younger generation come into like the bowls community now is just really good to see. And I think also, you know, making friendships along the way, like at different clubs, whether it's like Australian Open, Nationals, you know, just like social events in general, like it's really good. Yeah.
Speaking of Nationals, was this your first trip away as a senior Open player?
Second.
Yep. No worries. I just wanted to confirm.
Third, 2. I can't remember now. 2, 3. I can't remember now.
Because obviously you would have been in the under 18s.
Yeah.
Yep. And what's one thing you'd like to improve about the game? You know, we've asked this of a few people so far. What are your thoughts on how we can improve the game of bowls?
I think like putting more innovative events to showcase our sport on like other levels in SA and making it sort of more inclusive as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think the Super League sort of was that sort of driving force at the time? We haven't had it for a couple of years now.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was a really good sort of event to sort of have in SA, because I understand like it was all sort of too much, but they could have maybe changed it to like a different time throughout the year. Yeah. And it's sort of like prepared us for winter bowls as well.
Yeah, the concept was really good, wasn't it? But just 100%. The timing of it, I reckon, was probably a bit off. And then they introduced the reserves. I thought that was probably a bit over the top. Should have just had the top players and, you know, showcase them, I think.
Exactly. You're
trying to be inclusive as well, so it's a fine line, isn't it?
I suppose. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Who was your sporting idol growing up? Any sport. Doesn't have to be bowls this time round.
Oh, sporting idol.
Footy?
What's
your footy team?
Well, I go for the Bulldogs in footy.
Oh, really?
So, yes, I know it's very different.
good answer, because I think Phil here was angling for Port Adelaide.
Well, my family are Port, so, like, I sort of am both.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Who's your favourite player at the Bulldogs?
I like Bonty.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the answer. Who was your sporting idol sort of growing up? Was it somebody, you know, from football, from tennis, from cricket?
I don't know. I don't think I really had one, to be honest.
No, fair enough. That's okay.
Yeah.
What other teams do you support apart from the Bulldogs?
Well, I love the Diamonds and the Thunderbirds as well in netball. Because I was a huge netball girl back in the day. So yeah.
What was your position?
I used to be a goal shooter.
Beautiful.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
At the pointy end, which is where you want to be.
Yeah.
Do you have a pre-match meal?
Usually for like Saturday pennants, I would have like a ham cheese Danish from Baker's Delight, and then to go with it, I'd also have like a bubble tea from Char Time. So yeah.
Oh. Not like Scotty then, couple pints after he's
No.
rolled the greens.
No, right, completely different.
So a fair meal to get you going there. What about a playlist or a song that gets you up for the day? Do you have a superstition where that's your meal and these are the songs that I'm playing on the way to the ground?
Oh, I would have to I've got two favorites. My first one is probably "Stronger" by Christina Aguilera, and then my second one was probably "Let's Get It Started" by Black Eyed Peas.
Yep. Two pretty good songs. If we could play them in the background, because you've got to have a music license, we'd be playing them right now for you, getting you all pumped up.
Jamming, I'd be like, whoop, whoop.
We could sing them.
Absolutely.
No.
Don't suggest that, mate. I'm no good at the sing. Look, Sheridan, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll get you out of here on one last question. If there's going to be a movie made about you, who is going to play you?
Oh, that is really, really hard.
Don't feel bad if you can't answer it. There's been quite a few that haven't been able to.
As in, like anyone, any actor.
Yep, any actor, actress, anything.
Oh, I would have to say Kate Hudson.
Good choice.
Yeah.
What's your favourite movie of Kate Hudson's?
Oh, I probably like Bride Wars.
Okay,
That's a really good comedy one, yeah.
Yep. The other good one is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
10 Days, yes.
Always
Such a good
movie.
classic.
Yep.
Yeah, love it.
Showing off my movie knowledge a little bit. Sheridan, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And best of luck for the rest of the season. And we'll catch you out on the greens.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Sheridan. Bye-bye.
Liking this podcast? Please like, rate, and subscribe.
All right, mate, we better have a bit of a look at some of the state events that are going on. We did mention a little bit earlier that the state triples is obviously being played this weekend. But the state mixed pairs, Metro and also country qualifiers were taking place last Sunday.
Yep.
And some notable wins there. The team from Millswood, D. Dorr and G. Kennedy, getting over both Coulter's 17-7. But the big one for me was the second round match was won by Dan Greenslade and Kath Greenslade. Pretty handy combination there. Yeah. 28-8 over A. Merritt and D. Bryant from Port Noarlunga and Willunga, respectively. But in the third round of the knockouts, a bit of a surprise. The defending champions are out.
Really?
Correct. Unfortunately, Nathan Black wasn't available to play.
Oh, okay.
But a pretty handy Jaden Zeller fills in. They won their the second round match.
Yep.
And unfortunately came up against a pretty red-hot Laney McGorman and Brett Davis, winning that 15-6. And there was a bit of confusion over the draw because we all got given our cards and we're all actually supposed to be playing different people.
Oh, okay.
And so it took them about 40 minutes to work out. So by the time everyone had cooled down, they had to go back out. It was a pretty late Sunday night in the end. But big winners there, obviously, for Laney and Brett. But the other big one was, unfortunately, Kath and Dan going down 19-9. And we were actually, Kathy and I were supposed to play them in the card we were given initially.
Yep.
So we set ourselves to play them. And then all of a sudden, we didn't get the Didn't
So
get
who
to play
did they
them.
go down to?
They went down to Beth Quinlan and Sammy Denton, so he's had a pretty fair weekend, Sammy. And obviously Kathy and myself went down 17-8 to Trevor Feast and his lovely wife Vicky, and he bowled unbelievable.
Day out.
We were bowling well, he just bowled better, and that's the way it goes. A couple of other really close games. Rob Walton and Yvonne Beckeris, I think it is, getting up 16-15, and we're all sort of having drinks, waiting on this last game, and Kay Bishop and Bradley Jensen from West Lakes going down 17-16 to Brent Marshall and El Sumner from Semaphore and Salisbury.
Brent.
It literally came down to the last bowl, and Brad, I think, just navigated the bowls and found a hole, and it just rolled on that little bit far. But that's, as we said, that's how it goes. So state triples this weekend. I haven't had too in-depth look at the draw, but looks like it should be a good weekend for bowls.
I think we come up against Blackie, they tell me, somewhere along the line. So look out, Blackie.
Anything can happen. Make sure you get into it, mate. All right, mate. Let's get into extra ends. All right, mate, let's talk some tournaments coming up. Salisbury Prestige Medley Ladies Fours, Monday the 25th of November, 9:30 for a 10 a.m. start.
Won't be able to play in that one.
Mate,
we've got to,
don't put your skirt on. Don't shave your legs.
We're ripping down the club that day, so we move out of our club. So we've got a working bee on down there. But,
I did hear that. For the people that don't know, Walkerville are having a transformation, not only of the bowling club, but the footy club as well. And this was probably scheduled for a little bit earlier, but now it's been delayed a little bit. Yep.
So we go to Toorak just for the second half, and we should be up and running, I believe, beginning of next season. Yep. So the Greens are going to get a big shave off too, and Jimmy Gregory's having a crack at them, and apparently they'll be absolutely super next year. So
absolutely looking forward to having a bit of a roll out there, mate. Considering it's only just down the road from here, so it's always a nice venue to be, and I'll be interested to see. Bring the form. All right, mate. Woodville
Triples, Friday the 29th of November. Barbecue 5:15 for a 6 p.m. start. There you go. That looks all right.
They have done this before. It runs pretty well over these summer months. Obviously, daylight saving helps with that. The sun's out a little bit later now, and they get a good couple of ends in. Get a snag before you play. Yeah. I haven't played in it, but I've spoken with Doc Butfield about it, and he raves about it. He thinks it's fantastic, and it's always a good night down there. So if you haven't got anything to do on a Friday night, by all means, drop into the Woodville and play some triples, or get a team together and let the club know that you'd like to participate. And the BPL kicks off in 4 days' time. Surely it'll be an exciting time with two new teams playing in it. We've got the Geelong Jets and the St. John's Park just rebranding themselves a little bit for this tournament of the St. John Saints, or the Saints.
There you go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love watching it. A couple extra teams in. We got Laney in there this year to watch Laney. We had a great chat to her last week.
Yep.
She's up and firing, ready
Scotty
to go.
and
Scotty
Rudy have been in there for since day one.
Blackie's got a team
with the Sydney not the Kings, the Sydney Lions. Sydney Lions.
Yeah, so that's all bit of interest. It's
absolutely. As we've said before, I think KO actually provide it in the evenings.
Yeah,
so if you want to, have your dinner, they actually provide it as a free service.
Oh, do they?
Or they, as a you don't have to buy the 7-day trial. They do have little games or mini games somewhere in there that you actually get it free of charge. But if you do have KO, certainly log on to that. And then during the day events, YouTube. I know they try to do it on. Okay. I know they try to do it on Facebook, but sometimes it doesn't accept it. But if you really, really are dead keen to watch it, it'll be all over YouTube the entire week. So really looking forward to that. Good luck to the Adelaide Pioneers. Let's see if we can get them a win, because they've been so close so many times.
And,
exactly right. Wouldn't it be great if we could get Scotty and Rudy on after a big win? That'd be huge.
Be a little while after with Scotty.
Would be. But the tournament being played at Pine Rivers, so good luck to all the teams there. But more importantly, good luck to the South Australian teams. All right, let's move on to some of the national events or the national things that are going on. As mentioned a little bit earlier there with Sheridan, the new Jackaroo Academy-based squad for SA has been named. Obviously, Sheridan's in that. Haneka's in it. Daisy Coe, Evie Exton, Tasman Jenke, Anda Panjawant, Talia Stringer, Sammy Milkins, Ben Bowman, Liam Coe, Sammy Denton, Harrison Gitter-Johnson, previous guest, Dan Greenslade, who we did talk about a little bit earlier, Charlie Hicks, Corey Hicks, Cody Jarman, Noah Phillips, Isaac Trinorden, Jack Trinorden, Jono Voigt, and Thomas Gibbs. So not a bad little squad there.
Absolutely. I mean, it gives them a challenge to go that next level. And so, obviously, being in the States side must help. Harrison's not in it at the moment, I don't think, is he?
No, but that's the open side, whereas this is almost that development type squad, or they've rebranded it as an academy.
Which is great. It's good. Good concept.
I think Bowls Australia now have, I suppose, rejigged a few things, and it looks like now each state's going to have their own academy.
Yep.
So you might find that academies are playing against other academies, a bit like the open squad.
Yep.
I'm only thinking ahead that they want to get that best competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're obviously going to get the best coaching,
Yeah.
and I would assume that the national program will sort of move around the country, and go to each of those academies and also work with those squads. So I think it's tying everything together quite nicely.
Yeah.
So congratulations to those players. I know it's been all over Facebook the last couple of days, and we congratulate them on the show here, but obviously personally we've congratulated a few along the way as well. So congratulations to them. Mate, any burning questions for Bowls at the moment for you?
Not really, Pete. I think we've covered quite a bit of the stuff that I needed to bring out. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
One little hot topic, and we did talk about it with Sheridan a little bit earlier there. Should Super League Bowls return? And we did sort of touch on it. If it does return, where should it return? What part of the year? Should it be a winter thing?
Yeah, I think it was the season was wrong for it. Concept was pretty right, I think.
Yep.
I'm not sure about the reserves comp, but I think but then on that fact, you don't just want the state bowlers bowling in it too. You want to have a mix of guys that don't get a go normally to bowl.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the concept would be, but
the concept of the league reserves under 21s and maybe a para element.
Do you get in the under 21s, Pete?
Not quite. No, unfortunately, I've passed that boat even for double it. Only just though. But having that, but maybe that's something that it doesn't all have to be all at one venue and all at one time.
Yeah.
You might be able to play the city legs on some weeks and then the country legs on other weeks, just to give that country city vibe, and then maybe as a carnival have everybody come together and play over the course of
a better way of doing it.
A weekend and a couple of venues.
Yeah,
maybe.
and I'm not too sure what it is, but it didn't quite kick off, did it? Sort of right the first year, and by the second year it was getting a bit tired, and wasn't many people going to watch. I know that.
But again, we're trying to cater for a online viewer now.
Yep.
And a lot of sports are going that way.
It's like our show here, Pete, isn't it?
It is. We're getting plenty of people watching, not so many people coming up and wanting to see us personally. Mate, we are going to put out a shout out on that note there that we want you to nominate a club that we can do a live broadcast from, and we want to get involved with local clubs. We've obviously got all the equipment here in the studio, but we also have availability to get to a local club around the place. So put your nominations in, and we're going to try over the next, what do we got, about 14 weeks left in the season, try and get to a club every 2 or 3 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks.
I think my phone's running hot now, Pete.
Mate,
clubs are ringing.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that. As per usual, mate, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, Sheridan, for her time tonight, and that was a really good conversation.
Yeah, it was.
I did sort of tease that we've got a Jackaroo.
Oh, yeah.
Has won a gold medal. That's all I'm going to say.
Really?
I'm going to leave it at that. So in a couple of weeks...
So we're not giving any initials
I'm not
or anything?
If I did, we'd give it away. But I'd be interested if anyone's got any guesses to shout out online who you think it might be. But next week we'll have a local guest, but due to commitments next week, not available, but the week after.
Yep. Looking
it's
forward to
all
it.
lined up, mate. I really can't wait for this one. And let's just say this player's...
He's always out there on the green,
He's
isn't he?
always out there on the green. Yep.
Yep. You know
I'm
he's there.
not going to say anymore. You sort of know.
Yeah.
But thank you to everybody that's tuned in. And I think as per usual, mate, we've got to do better than this.
We do. Come on, Pete. You bring something out.
Lift your game, mate. Thank you to everyone. And as per usual, like, rate and subscribe. It definitely helps our numbers. So see you next week.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, mate.